Hi, this is Doug Sharpe, host of the National Leadership Briefing. As promised, here we are with the midweek touch point. Now, this is the brand new project that we've added in to our National Leadership Briefing service here so that we can help you onboard people into the brand new conservativeupdate.com website. Now, as we mentioned before in the National Leadership Briefing, we build each of these conversations brick by brick by brick over time on each of the briefings. And every time we connect, we rely on you having a foundation of understanding as to why we're here today. Now, if you're brand new, if this is the very first time you're laying eyeballs on Doug Sharpe and the National Leadership Briefing, then what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to look below on this email, and I'm going to need you to look for two links. One link, first of all, is the January 2020 National Leadership Briefing. It is the briefing that we do once a month. It's always on the first Friday of every month. And what we do is we talk about the ways that we can come together and increase our level or degree of influence in the areas of society, culture, politics, and government. So in January, we spent an hour together with leaders from across the nation, and we helped them understand ways that they can prepare themselves to grow their influence in these spheres. So I'm going to need you, because you're brand new to the briefing today and brand new to this midweek touch point, I'm going to need you to go back and watch that January briefing. I'm also sending you the link for the all-important February 7th briefing, because the February briefing of this year, 2020, what we did was we introduced a new project or program called Operation Engage and the conservativeupdate.com website. Again, if this is all brand new to you, a lot will be explained when you watch those two briefings, the January 2020 briefing, where you'll find a link below, and the February 7th, 2020 briefing, which you'll also find in a link below this email or this video. So do that first, and then come back and watch this if you're brand new. Okay, so here we are. This is the midweek touch point. What we've got is we've got a window of opportunity before us where we can maximize our influence on the outcome of the Conservative Party of Canada leadership election race, which is taking place right now in Canada. This is a political party here in our nation that is looking for a new leader right now, and that all-important leader of political parties, that individual of whatever political party, has the potential within our democracy and within our democratic system here in Canada to become the Prime Minister of Canada. So we are very interested in knowing who that person could be, and we're very interested in having as much influence as we can possibly have on the outcome of that conversation. So what we're doing here today is that we are introducing ourselves to all of the new people that are joining this movement. This is a movement of people that have come together and said, I want my voice to be heard with everyone else in Canada on the important things that I consider to be important. I want to make sure that we're participating in this conversation as to who's going to be the leader, and we want our priorities to be considered, our ideas to be considered in the mix among the ideas that are discussed as part of that election process. So here is the midweek touch point. This is going to happen every single week. The middle of the week, you're going to be getting a video from me, and we're just going to be touching base. We're just going to be helping people connect with some of the important information that they need, because this window, like I say, is tight. I mean, we're down this midweek touch point. We're getting down to it. This is within 2 months of the deadline to actually purchase a membership within this party so we can even participate. If you are going to participate in this process, you will need to be a member, and there's a deadline coming up. And if you don't have your membership in place and you are not ready to cast your ballot, then it doesn't matter how much preparing you're doing. It's going to be all for naught, because you won't have an opportunity to vote. And that's our ultimate goal, is to decide who that person's going to be. Okay, let's just go over quickly what it is that we're going to talk about briefly today. This is not a full 1 hour briefing. Remember, we always spend 1 hour on the National Leadership Briefing once a month, but I want to keep these short just so we're touching base and directing people to the next midweek touch point and the next National Leadership Briefing, which of course is going to be taking place on March the 6th. So mark that in your calendar. Now, if you're not registered for the National Leadership Briefing, take this address down, or actually look below here. What I'll do is I'll put this address in the email below. You've got to register for the National Leadership Briefing. If you've come directly to the midweek touch point and you have not yet registered for the National Leadership Briefing, you've got to be a part of that. So you go to the website, go to the link below, and it'll say register National Leadership Briefing. Click on that, register, and we'll make sure we get you all the information. So let's take a look at where we're at right now. Don't want to confuse the new people, but remember, I told you to go back, watch those videos. All this will make a lot more sense when you do that. But for the people that have been on the videos and on the briefings before, you know where we're at. We have launched a website called Conservative Update, where we have created for you a national leadership platform. This is a leadership election platform with all of the ideas and legislative proposals and policy proposals that we believe are representative of what you want to see discussed during the leadership election. And they are on this website called conservativeupdate.com. Now, what's important about this website for you to know is that this website, when you go to this website, you're going to first see on the very front page, you're going to see our goals and objectives. And really quickly, I'm going to summarize them for you in bullet form here, is that when you go to that front page, you're going to see that number one, our number one goal with establishing this website and doing everything we're doing right now is to open a dialogue with other Conservative Party of Canada members just to get a conversation going. The second thing that we want to accomplish is we want to make sure that we are able to advance our ideas into the conversation. The third goal is for us to find the common ground between us. No one's coming in there trying to run roughshod over everybody else and take over. What we want to do is we want to put our ideas up against other ideas that are out there and find the common ground between us as part of this dialogue. And then the fourth goal and objective, of course, is for us to then, after we've identified that common ground, is to move forward in a unified way towards the next federal election. So that is what we're doing. That's our goal and objective, and you'll find that on page 1 of the website. Now, if you scroll down further on that conservativeupdate.com website, you're going to find quick links that will take you to something called the Common Ground Leadership Election Platform. Now, let me give you an idea what you're going to find there, and you tell me if this is worthy of your time. We are proposing things like the Parental Authority Protection Act. You're going to find information about a Parent's Bill of Rights, a Bill of Rights that is something that we believe our nation needs. We believe that you want it to happen because there's a real misunderstanding right now between the limits of authority between civil government and parental authority. And we want to clarify that line for civil government by passing that piece of legislation. We've also got something called the Child Protection Pornography Act. We want to make sure that parents continue to have absolute authority over what's placed in front of their children. And when inappropriate materials are placed in front of their children, we want the weight of the law to come down on those individuals who are passing inappropriate information and materials to kids in our families. The third thing is we talk about income splitting for couples, which is just a way of redistributing the income in a family. It adds more flexibility, so one of the parents can stay home and take care of young children and save some money on some taxes. Now, I'm just giving you just bullet forms here. We've got comprehensive conscience rights protection for medical professionals. Right now, we've got situations here in Canada where we have medical professionals who really do not believe that they're able to participate in the hastening of someone's death as part of the euthanasia process, as an example. And their rights as medical professionals are not being protected so that they can opt out of participating in those procedures, because we really don't believe that the hastening of death is something that we can, within our conscience, our belief system, is something that we can participate in. So that's another thing that's discussed there. We've got a Vulnerable Persons Protection Act. We've got a Born Alive Infant Protection Act. We've got a National Standards for Informed Consent. This is a fantastic suggestion that came from you, because you want to make sure that if people are going to make decisions about complex and dangerous medical procedures, that they have all of the information that they require to provide informed consent to the medical professionals who are actually treating them. So this is a very important one. We've got something called the Community Solutions Partnership Program. We've got fiscal policy, fiscal restraint policies. We deal with the CBC. We have some ideas on the CBC, and you can also see all of these things. But you've got to go to the website and you've got to have a look at it. Now, I'm going to ask you. I know that this might be in your mind right now. You go, Doug, this is all fantastic. Somebody told me to sign up for this, conservative update, receive these midweek updates from you and all that. But why am I here? Why am I here? I'm going to answer that question for you, because what's going to happen here is they're going to identify this leader of this party. And this person could become, as I said, the Prime Minister of Canada. And that person has the power and the authority to make significant decisions that are going to impact the lives of your neighbor in either a positive or a negative way. And you and I, as members of the faith community in Canada, we know that it is not appropriate for us to sit by while other people make decisions about our neighbor and decisions that negatively impact their lives. So we've put forward these positive solutions that will enhance and advance it'll actually make the lives of our neighbors better. And we want to see these ideas held up against others because we care about our neighbor, and we're called, in fact, to love our neighbor and have a compassionate love for our neighbor. So that's why we're having this conversation, and that's why we want to be a part of it. So we want you to go to the website and review those platform priorities. We also want you to register your support while you're there on the website. There's a registration tab, and all you do is you click on it, and then you can actually put your name down and say, I am here now to say that I will support the person, the candidate in this leadership race who supports these ideas. So you can actually be heard and add your voice to all of the other Canadians in Canada that are standing up and saying, I like these ideas. And then we will be passing that on to the leadership candidates, and they will hear you as a unified voice, all of us from across the nation. Okay, and then one thing I wanted to share with you here today is the last thing that we want you to do. So first of all, go to the site, review the platform. Second of all, register your support for the platform. And I know you're going to like it, so I'm just going to assume you're going to register, but go ahead, have a look at it. These are great ideas that you gave us, so I'm sure you're going to like the ideas. But the third thing, and this is all important, is that we don't want you to just be informed. We want you to be an informer. So once you do what you do and you register your support for this, you remember, you are the center of influence within a sphere of influence. You have friends, you have families. If you're a pastor, you have a congregation. If you're in business, you have employees. You have people that are all around you that share your views and values. And if you show them this platform, if you show them this website and encourage them to also go on the site, review the platform, register their support for the platform, and participate in this process, we are adding more and more influence. I always say to people, hey, how'd you like to double your influence, the amount of influence you have? Just like that. And they say, yeah, I'd like to double my influence. Great. Well, then get one other person to actually agree with you on the things that you believe in. And that's all you have to do. It could be your spouse. It could be your friend. It could be someone in your church. But if you just did one person, you're doubling your influence. Can you imagine if you actually went to 10 people and they went to maybe 10 people and they went to 10 people? You would be amazed at the math of what happens. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to continue to grow the influence that we have by going and taking a look at the platform, encouraging others to do the same, and continuing to meet once a week over the course of these next weeks ahead before the deadline, so that we can maximize our influence. So that is the extent of the midweek touch point this week. I thank you so much for your time today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the website, conservativeupdate.com. Look at the links below. Make sure that you're registering for things like the National Leadership Briefing, and make sure that we are connected. We only have to touch base for a real short period of time over the span of time for us to come together and grow our influence in the areas of society, culture, politics, and government. So thanks so much. Doug Sharpe, host of the National Leadership Briefing. Looking forward to serving you on the road ahead. But in the meantime, God bless you, God bless your family, and may God continue to bless this great nation of Canada. Bye for now.